What's up guys, JV2017 here, and today I am continuing my Fallout 4 pre-release content. The launch is creeping closer and closer as we're only 16 days away from the release date. So just a quick reminder guys, this is your #1 hub for Fallout 4 content here on YouTube. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned on my channel now and when the game comes out on November 10th. Today I want to get away from all the stats and percentages and talk about the story of Fallout 4, because we all know that's something that really shines in these Bethesda RPGs. Now keep in mind, Bethesda has come out and said that they want to keep the story on a wrap. They want to keep it an absolute secret until the game comes out, which is something I really appreciate because it just adds to the immersion factor and the feeling that I am the Vault Dweller. You know, I am the sole survivor. So in this video, we will be talking about what we do know, which is not very much at all, and what we don't know, which will include a bunch of speculation from various sources that I've been reading over the past few weeks and months. So let's go ahead and start with what we do know. In terms of setting, the game is set in Boston, Massachusetts, and the surrounding kind of suburbs and general area. So that's where we know we will be for this game, and we may extend outwards in DLC, but we have no idea about that yet. So we know this is a Boston-based game, and we also know that the game takes place roughly around the same time as Fallout 3, and that's around 2277 in the Fallout lore. So I'm not a huge lore buff. If I get something wrong, go ahead and call me out for it, but we do know generally where the game is going to take place and when it takes place within the lore of the game. Let's talk about plot now, and we pretty much only have a starting point here and a kind of a frame of reference. So we have our family, so it's a husband, a wife, and a son, and they basically witness the start of the Great War, which is an event in Fallout lore, which happens in 2077, and they seek shelter in Vault 111. So that's the name of our vault in this Fallout game. And then our player, if you choose the husband or wife to play as, actually wakes up 200 years later after this Great War event as the sole survivor. That's what Bethesda has coined our player character as. So we do know from lore that the Great War only lasts 2 hours, but basically I believe it was a race for resources between the US and China, correct me if I'm wrong, and they basically decided to let loose all of their nukes, and everything is just nuclear wasteland now. And I believe maybe some parts survived. I don't really know, but also this is an important point. So you may be wondering, why is the player character alive after 200 years? We believe, and I'm not sure if this is confirmed, that it's cryogenic sleep, and I think that's been something a lot of people have been just saying, yep, that's what it is, but I can't find any source for it. Maybe you guys know where Bethesda said, yep, it's cryogenic sleep, that's how the survivor is alive still. Maybe it's from the earlier leaks that happened a few months ago, but essentially, we believe that the player character is alive as the sole survivor of the vault because of cryogenic sleep. And so that's really all we know about the plot so far. Very little. So they give us a starting point, and then everything is supposed to flesh out from there. Moving on to characters, we have Howard, which is the husband, Nora is the wife, and Sean is the son at the beginning of the game. Again, there's a pre-war sequence at the beginning of the game. That's where we start with our plot. And so we also have these other players. There's Codsworth, who is the Mr. Handy, who actually survives the Great War. We have Dogmeat, which is a dog you meet after the Great War when you wake up as the sole survivor. And then we have Preston Garvey and Piper. They are companion characters that you find in the world. Preston Garvey is at a museum, and then Piper's at Diamond City, which is at Fenway Park. So also keep in mind, those names are not set. For Howard and Nora, those are just placeholders, maybe as Sean is as well, I believe. You can change all of these names in the game if you wish to role play. So the player, you can pick between the husband and wife. It's based on your choice completely if you want to play a male or a female character, but obviously the voices are going to be fixed. We're not going to be able to change that at all. So there's a total of 12 companions in the game. So we only know of Codsworth, Dogmeat, Preston, and Piper. Those are the 4 we know. There are another 8 companions just out in the world. We don't know who they are, where they are, no idea. Obviously, I'll go more in depth as we figure out more. If they're not going to release any more companions before launch, I will absolutely be on it for you guys when the game comes out on November 10th. But that's all we know about basically friendly characters that we'll be interacting with in the game thus far. Let's talk about the region that we will be playing in and kind of the environment in general. So this area, Massachusetts, is actually called the Commonwealth, in Fallout lore. So instead of the capital wasteland in DC, we're actually calling this Massachusetts Boston area the Commonwealth, and everything inside of this area is the Commonwealth. So I'm going to go over some key landmarks. Keep in mind there are some more. I'm sure they're already confirmed, but these are just the key ones that I'm going to talk about in this video. So Fenway Park, where the Red Sox play, is now Diamond City in the future. And so obviously that's based off of the baseball diamond, and that's where we meet Piper, one of our potential companions. The next location that I'm talking about is MIT, obviously a very prestigious college, is home to the Institute, which is a mysterious faction we don't know a lot about. Maybe there's some stuff in Fallout lore that you guys can share in the comments, but that's all we know about right now. That's where the Institute's going to be. And then we have some other factions involved. We've seen Brotherhood of Steel, some of those enemies in some of the gameplay we've seen so far. So they're going to be in the game in some capacity, maybe a new chapter in the Massachusetts Commonwealth area. We have the Institute, like I just mentioned, and also the Commonwealth Minutemen. And the leader is actually Preston Garvey, one of our companions. So we can kind of assume that the Minutemen are going to be a friendly faction unless you're a complete asshole. I mean, you could be. You know, that might affect if they're going to be friendly towards you. So there's been a lot of speculation on the internet about map size, and Todd Howard himself has said that it's around the same size as Skyrim, but the mountains in Skyrim took up a lot of space, and that space is going to be playable in Fallout 4. So it will feel like the biggest game world that Bethesda has ever given us, which is really, really exciting stuff. That marks the end of what we do know about Fallout 4. Now let's talk about what we don't know in terms of story. And again, big reminder, this is all speculation from here on out. Here are the high points that I've seen people speculate about. What happened in Vault 111? Why is the player character the only person that survived? What is the main objective? What's the main questline in this game? What roles do factions play? And also, does the Enclave return? Remember, this is occurring at the exact same time as Fallout 3. So the Enclave still exists, you know, down south a little bit in DC, you know, what's going on there? So first, I'm going to share my own theory on what happens to Vault 111. So what I hope happens is my family dies. That sounds terrible, I know. But the problem is we spent half of Fallout 3's main questline searching for Liam Neeson. I quite frankly don't want to spend half of my time searching for my family in this game. You know, I don't want them to recycle that script. That's boring to me. So I hope my family just dies off and we don't have to deal with them in the main questline. But the problem with that is, what's the point of that first main war sequence? And there could be several reasons. It could be to just set the stage of the game and give us kind of a compare and contrast. You know, what was it like before the bombs dropped compared to what it's like after, you know, the Great War. On the other hand, the pre-war sequence could be there to set up the main quest of the game. That could be the whole purpose. It could be to highlight the significance of your family, maybe create some emotional ties and make you really want to search for them. But again, I think that would be really unfair to us Fallout fans. We already did that in Fallout 3. I really hope they don't do that, and I honestly think they won't do that. I think they realize that that would be kind of annoying for a lot of us. So here are some more theories that people have out on the internet. One is that your son is still alive. Somehow your son survives, you're not the sole survivor, and maybe even the Vault 111 people, whoever's controlling it, maybe the Vault itself is controlling it, let your son out 30 years earlier, and somehow, since you're doing cryogenic sleep, your character's in cryogenic sleep, your son is the same age as you. And there's even another theory that your son is possibly the bad guy, maybe the leader of the Institute or some faction that you're against in the game, and that would be very Star Wars if they were to do that. But those are some wild theories. I'd like to know some theories that you guys have about Vault 111 and the sole survivor. Leave those in the comments section below. Alright guys, today we focused on the story of Fallout 4, and next time we will cover more Fallout 4 information here on my channel. So stay tuned for all of my pre-release content, and remember that this is your #1 hub for all Fallout 4 content on YouTube. If you have any ideas for something you would like me to cover that I haven't touched on yet, be sure to leave it in the comments section below. If you learned something new from this video, remember to hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I've got plenty of Fallout 4 pre-release content coming, and of course when the game comes out on November 10th. Talk to you guys next time. Peace.